Two men are dead and the man accused of killing them is in jail. Police say the suspect used a machete in a very gruesome attack. 4029's John Paul is live this morning with more. And John, you're in the neighborhood where that attack all started.
Yeah, Derek, in fact, right behind me is the alleyway where this attack happened. Police this morning, they're calling this a completely random attack, and officers, investigators, they're really trying to make sense of why something like this had to happen. Now, walk with me. There's something I want to show you this morning. Right over here, you're looking at what looks like ice chunks, but it's actually foam. It was used by firefighters to spray down the scene here because this was a very violent attack. There's something else I want to show you this morning. It's video of the suspect being led by police into the jail. He is Gregory Kinsey. He's accused of using a machete to kill two men. Their names have not been released to us this morning. Now, let me catch you up on what led to this bloody confrontation. Police tell us the two men were sitting on the porch just before they approached Kinsey. Words were exchanged. Now, police tell us witnesses couldn't quite make out what was said, but then Kinsey pulled out a machete and slashed the two several times. The two men ran away to a home on 16th and D here in Fort Smith, and they died from their injuries.
The extensive injuries and what happened here, nobody can really explain how that would happen. If there's any good thing out of this, at least someone, the person we believe absolutely responsible is in custody, and you know, we'll have to answer for his actions.
Now, witnesses say they saw Kinsey run from this scene over here through this alley over here behind me. That's where police caught up with him. He was actually inside his mother's garage. They found him there and they arrested him. We're live with you this morning. I'm John Paul, 4029 News.
All right, John, thank you.
1 month after two men died from a machete attack, we're getting a glimpse into the night when police say that Gregory Kinsey attacked. More than 100 pages of police reports, phone records, and police videos reveal new details about that night, including what the suspect told officers just after it happened.
I became angry. I tossed my bags and yelled and told them, please, I don't want to go to prison today.
That's how Gregory Kinsey described the confrontation with two neighbors in a Fort Smith neighborhood the night of June 26th. Two neighbors who would end up dead. Police say Kinsey killed Brandon Prince and Nathan Young after an argument about him creeping in a back alley by their house. For the first time, you're hearing not only Kinsey tell more of his story in his muffled voice, but from an eyewitness who saw it all go down.
I can't remember much of what happened. I remember he and the other guy, they started coming real close to me. I just told them, please, man, I just want to go home. Don't make this happen. I started picking up my groceries to walk off. He told me, I know you're trying to sound like Satan to scare me, but I'm not afraid of you.
Kinsey said that's when he pulled out his machete, trying to scare them off.
He said, I'm not afraid of that knife. They got real close to me and started hitting me. I told him I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to go home. Just can't you let it go, man? They got right up on me. At my pace. Could nearly feel the breath on me. It was clear he wasn't going to let me go. I started swinging.
Nate went up to him, and that's when Prince got up, you know, and he seen that machete too. And he was like, well, there's two of us, you know. And about that time, that motherfucker was like, boom, and he hit Prince, man, and Prince you just seen him cave in, man, and somehow he managed to get by his front door, and he collapsed. And I was trying to tell him, man, what the you doing, you know? And he got Nate, man, and man,
Nate tried to run, or?
Nate was, you know, fell down, man, and that guy just came up on, and I mean, just hacked the out of him.
These are just some of the evidence that prosecutors have released to 4029 after we, along with Southwest Times Record and the Associated Press, asked a judge to keep these records open to the public. Kinsey is charged with 2 counts of capital murder.
Hey.
Way for a man accused of using a machete to kill 2 people.
Today, the prosecution spent the day trying to prove to jurors that Gregory Kinsey is guilty of capital murder. This is video of Kinsey when he was arrested in June of last year. 4029's Brett Rains was in the courtroom. He spoke exclusively with the family of one of the men who was killed. It's an interview you'll only see on 4029.
In opening arguments, prosecutors said Gregory Kinsey chopped Nathan Young and Daniel Prince to death with this machete. But defense attorneys argued that the victims were drunk, started a fight, and Kinsey was defending himself.
You don't kill somebody that didn't even touch you to defend yourself, you know?
It was sickening. I mean, what I saw was unreal, unhuman.
Prince's family sat through testimony as the medical examiner showed pictures of the bodies to the jury.
It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It's horrible.
The medical examiner said Prince had one slash that was 11 inches from his shoulder to his chest, and the other man had been cut at least 8 times. Jurors also heard from Kinsey. Prosecutors played a recorded interview of him after he was arrested.
Got 2 kids that doesn't have a daddy now, and I don't have a son.
If convicted, he could get the death penalty.
And I hope it turns out right, because if they let him go, he'll do it again. Ain't no telling how many he'll kill.
Brett Rains, 4029 News.
And one person who took the stand today said she witnessed the attack. The prosecution will call more witnesses tomorrow. You can visit 4029tv.com for extended coverage of the Machete murder case. This man is in jail after a horrible attack takes 2 lives. Police say Gregory Kinsey murdered 2 men with a machete. Craig Cannon joins us now with his possible motives.
Well, it happened in the dark of night. The suspect claims Satan helped him do it.
I seen a guy laying on the front porch and a guy laying by the tree right here.
It was a frightening scene in this man's neighborhood about 10 p.m. Wednesday night, but he says 2 murders didn't surprise him.
It's a bad area, period, and if I had surveyed this area before I moved over here, I never would have moved over here, because it's bad.
Bad for sure, after Fort Smith police say they first heard about a stabbing attack.
At 9:48 p.m., we received a 911 call that a stabbing had just occurred in the 1600 block of North D Street.
Police say this man, Gregory Kinsey, was walking down an alley in Fort Smith, and a witness told police what happened.
They described the gentleman as wearing all black clothing, dark long hair, kind of the goth type style.
The men approached him. Words were exchanged, and then
the witness said that the suspect pulled out a long knife that we believe was a machete, and shortly after exposing this knife, he basically attacked both.
Police say that vicious attack ended with 2 neighbors, Nathan Young and Brandon Price, both dead. Another neighbor ID'd and led police to the 20-year-old suspect, and when he was arrested, Sergeant Grubb says you can't explain evil behavior like this act.
The witness gave a comment that he heard during this confrontation between the 2 that were actually killed and the suspect make a mention of some type of Satan that is within him or to that effect. And I mean,
police say this appears to be a complete random act. The suspect did not know the neighbors. But now Kinsey could be charged with 2 counts of capital murder for their gruesome death. New details are coming out about the night police say 2 neighbors were killed by that man with the machete. 4029 has been pouring through the police videos and transcripts that reveal what an eyewitness says he saw. It's new at 6. Prosecutors released more than 120 pages of phone call records, interviews, reports, and DVDs with the suspect Gregory Kinsey for the machete murders of 2 neighbors the night of June 26th in Fort Smith. For the first time, we hear from an eyewitness.
Nate was, fell down, man, and that guy just came up on, and I mean, just hacked dude was on the ground, and boom, boom. That's when I came up with that log, man. And after I ran in and told him to call the police, he was still out hacking on him.
As stated in the reports, one of the first officers on the scene saw an officer standing over a bloody body, and then he noticed a trail of blood leading up to the porch of a home and found another man's body. The officer states a juvenile was in the doorway saying, "Help him." The 2 men police found dead were Brandon Prince and Nathan Young. Shortly after that, due to a tip from a neighbor, Kinsey is arrested at his mother's home. Then, at the police station after being read his rights, police interrogated him and he talked freely. Police say Kinsey was on his way home from this store when he got into an argument with 2 men and attacked them.
I don't remember where I got him. All I remember seeing the blood fly and him turn and move off from me. So I concentrated on the one guy, the short one, the one that doing most of the talking. I remember he tried to flee, but I don't think I registered it at the time. I pursued him. I kept cutting. I wasn't trying to kill him.
Kinsey is being held without bond. 4029 obtained that information after we and other media organizations asked a judge to keep those investigative files open to the public.